Good morning, lovely people. How are you all today? I hope you're all well and happy and enjoying your summers. I've got some time in the garden, yay! I was kind of thinking about this the other day. I haven't actually done any really proper gardening for about 3 or 4 weeks. Not since sort of the middle of June when I was getting the last plants in and doing some repeat sowings. So yeah, apart from a bit of tinkering, I've hardly done a thing apart from daily watering. Still no rain. So yes, I've managed to carve out a little chunk of time for myself this morning. And one of the main things I want to do today is to lift my white onions, because they've been flopped over for a couple of weeks now. I'll explain that when we go into the garden. So one of the main reasons I want to lift them is because we've been promised rain tonight. I can't see it happening, if I'm absolutely honest with you, but it's promised, and from the forecast it looks like it might go on for a few hours, which would be absolutely great. Honestly, the ground is desperate for it, and I'm desperate for a day off from watering. Maybe it will happen. And actually today it's much cooler than it has been. I've even had to put a little sweater on to come out this morning. I think once I get working that will come off. But yes, so we've gone from having temperatures of sort of 28, 29, 30 to, I think today it's going to be more like 21, 22, which is much more typical of our English summers down here. So yes, once the onions are out, then my first lot of brassicas can go in. Oh, can't wait. And then I think what I'll do is I'll have a bit of a walk around with my notepad and pencil and just make a note of all the little jobs that need doing, so that hopefully I can tackle everything today. And even if I can't get it all tackled today, just over the next few days, an hour here, an hour there, what have you. Anyway, so little Mr. Rusty is having his little nibbles. Oh, such a cutie. So we'll have a little cuddle, and then, not we, me and Rusty, well, we can have a little cuddle as well if you like. Come on, let's have a cuddle. Once we've had our cuddle, let's get off down the garden and have a look at these onions. I just want to demonstrate what I mean about the whites and just comparing with, let's just come over here to the reds. So you can see the reds are all, their foliage is still really green and for the most part upright, so they are still getting occasional waterings. But the whites, like I said, they began to flop over a couple of weeks ago, and they're almost all flopped over now. And at this stage the plant is telling me I'm done with growing, I've done the growing I'm going to do, I'm getting ready to be harvested. So generally speaking, once my whites get to this stage, I stop watering and get them lifted. You can either lift and leave on the soil for a couple of days, or because we're going to get some rain tonight, fingers crossed. I mean, look at this, look at these cracks in the soil. You see, it shows how little rain we've had. Crazy. Yeah, but because we are due some rain tonight, I'll get them lifted and they'll go into the onion rack to start the drying process, more of which I'll chat about later. Gosh, I've got company. I was going to say, gosh, what a difference it makes to have this slightly cooler temperature. It does, it feels a little bit muggy, but there we go. So, oh, that was wrong. Oh, Polly, hang on, we're going to reconvene. Hang on a minute. Right, let's see if I can do a few without the cats. Oh, my goodness. I was going to say without the cats disturbing, as Poppy whizzes past, threatening to knock over the tripod. Okay, so when you're lifting your onions, you can see they only have a fairly shallow root system, So it doesn't take a huge amount of mechanics, just a little trowel underneath pops them up. Oh, and the sun's coming out, how lovely. Actually, there does seem to be a little bit of moisture down there in the soil. Great. Some of them are going to be absolute tiddlers this year. I think it's all partly this whole lack of rain business. You know, plants just haven't been able to plump up the onion. But quite often what I found is that when they haven't got to a huge size, that they really, really pack a punch with flavour. That's especially true of my garlic, which never get particularly big. They're always absolutely gorgeous and strong. There are some gaps in this bed where I've been nicking one or two here and there. But hopefully I shall have, best part of 100 white onions. Same with the red. The smell. It's getting an occasional whiff of yummy onion. I mean, look, some of them, they've just not done anything. It's looking like this year, this might be the sort of average size, which it is much smaller than I've had in previous years, but it will do. It's edible. Right, I'm going to finish getting this little lot up, and then we'll reconvene at the shed and talk about drying and storing. Not bad. Yes, not too shabby considering it's been a tricky year. Woo! I thought it'd be useful to have a quick word about the next stage in terms of preparing for storage, because you want your onions to last for as long as possible. You've gone to all the effort of growing them, now you want them to last so you can eat them all the way into January and February of next year if you've got enough. So when they're out, knock off the worst of the soil from the roots, but don't be tempted to do anything else with them at the moment. Don't be tempted to trim the roots, trim the leaves. So over. All you want to do at this stage is dry them. So I'll be hanging them in my drying rack in the shed. Plenty of space around each one, plenty of air circulation. It's really tempting at this stage, I know, to get off. Like, you look at the leaves and think, oh, they're all kind of mucky and tatty, and I want my onions to look pretty. I want to show them off. But this skin is your packaging, if you like. Beats plastic packaging though, doesn't it? So don't be, hair in my face. Don't be tempted to be pulling off outer leaves because you think they look tatty. As the onion cures, dries, in my case in my shed, what you're wanting eventually is that as they dry, the neck will shrivel up, and as it shrivels up it sort of tightens, and it's basically it's providing a seal for the onion. Likewise with those outer leaves of skin. Some of mine, they don't really have a good skin. I think it's because we're a bit early, but never mind, it's just a weird year. But yeah, just leave everything alone, let it dry. As it dries, things shrink down, the neck will tighten, forming a seal, and it should give you an onion that's going to well be able to store for months on end. When you do get to that stage, once they've had, I'll probably leave mine for 3 or 4 weeks to dry. There's not a kind of a definite period, because obviously it depends on sort of temperature, humidity, all those sorts of things. But once I'm happy that they are as dry as they're going to be, that's the stage at which I will just trim off the roots, trim off any excess foliage, always leaving a little bit in order to twist them onto the strings to hang them for storage. So I'd better get these sorted and get them into the shed, eh? Wow, it's suddenly starting to get really, really warm. It wasn't supposed to be like this today. It's because the foliage is still quite green, it's actually kind of hard to tuck down into the mesh. So I'm just going to lay them flat on the top for now to start drying, just for a couple of days, and then as this foliage starts to shrink, I can get them turned upside down and threaded into the holes. I'm also in a little bit of a hurry today. As always in a hurry. Generally, I'm really happy with them this year. Having been such a difficult year in so many other ways. And out of the whole lot, I think I lost just 2 to a bit of rot. We had it all over this site, so it is inevitable, but it wasn't, 2 losses out of 100, I'm chuffed. Oh, giddy up, Vivi. Oh, too much in one go, Vivi. Less haste, more speed. Never understood that. Right. Nearly ready to go get those brassicas in. Yay, brassica time! Right, get shifting, Gregory. Each year for the last few years, I've followed my alliums with my brassicas, and it seems to have worked perfectly well. So I'm going to repeat this year. And in terms of preparing the bed, I'm really going to do very, very little. That's a little bit of chicken poo. Rake it in slightly. And what I'm hoping is that we'll get this rain and it'll just help take that chip, because I use the dried pellets, it will just help to start to break it down and provide a little bit of a feed for the brassicas as they get going. You can see it's bone dry. Now I'm purposely not really doing much by way of breaking up this bed, because I'm following with brassicas. They like a really, really, really firm bed. So the last thing I want to do is dig up all this soil, loosen it up, fluff it up, because the brassicas won't like that. Yeah, so just a quick rake in of that muck, make some holes, fill them with water, and then get some brassicas in. Oh, but I can't resist crumbling a big clod. Right, hole maker and water. Oopsie. So in this bed, I'm going to put in my lovely whoopla January King. Aren't they looking grand? So these were my prickings from my third sowing. Just shows, don't ever give up. I would say it's not ideal weather conditions today to be doing to be planting things out, because despite our cool start this morning and overcast, it is actually getting quite hot and sunny now. Come on, tease you out. So because of that, there is a chance they're going to wilt massively. So what I'll do is, as soon as I've got them in, I've watered all the holes, but I'll give them all another jolly good watering, and then I'm going to put the shade nets over them, just so that it's not too many shocks in one go. But as you can see, pricked them out, oh, how long ago was it? 3 weeks or so, and they formed really nice little plug plants. So in we go. Where are you going to be able to see? Nice soggy puddle that's been made already. I've said it before, and I'm sure I'll say it again, that the main thing with your brassicas is they need to be in really, really firmly. So once you've got them in and you think they're firm, give it another jolly good firming. Seems to be a day for building works all around the site and people strimming. So yeah, oh, it's getting really quite warm. Nice puddle for it to go into. It's like the soil, look how dry. Goodness me. Get it in, give it a firm. When it's really firm, firm it again. I can't tell you how happy I am to actually be having some brassicas to put in. Whoa. I honestly thought they were going to be a dead loss this year. But it does show, doesn't it, you know, if at first you don't succeed, excuse me scooting along, just keep trying. Oh my goodness, so noisy today. In, really firm it. You could even, to get it really firm, once they're all in, and you're back on your feet, if you garden like me on your bottom, once you're back on your feet, just use the weight of your body as well to heel them in. They really, really do want to be firm. That's so annoying. That strimmer in the background. Oh wow. We'll just ignore it. Okay, 4 in, about 15 more to go. Now, I know spacing wise, this all looks really rather tight and stingy, but I am tight and stingy. They could probably ideally do with another 6 inches in either direction each, but what I will do is, as I harvest them from about December onwards, I will harvest alternate ones so that the ones that are left behind have more space to carry on growing. Yay! So like I say, get all these watered in and covered pronto against this really lovely but really rather strong sunshine. I'll probably give them a couple of days under the shade netting, or a few days, just to help them establish before I take it off. The other thing as well is, of course, there's a lot of bare soil here. And I was talking the other day about problems finding materials for mulching because the grass isn't growing, so I'm not getting any grass clippings. But what I think I'll do after this morning session is pop over to my local train station to see if there are any leftover free newspapers from this morning's commute. And then what I could do is, if there are newspapers, get this lot really, really, really well watered in, and then cover my bare bits with newspapers, just try and hold that moisture down in there. Actually, I might wait to do it until tomorrow, because if we do get this rain that we've been forecast for tonight, let the rain get in there, let it take the chicken poo in as well, and then get it mulched. Yeah, it's a plan. Woo! I love a plan. Oh, there's always one that needs a bit more. So there we have it. All happily tucked up under the shade netting. It won't take them long to start really deciding to grow, because, like I said, they've all got lovely little root systems on them. Hopefully we'll start to have some rain. Yay! And what I've done today, I will basically now be repeating as and when over the coming 6 to 8 weeks, with removal of summer crops and insertion of brassicas. So the next will be just over there. If you see the little red onions, when they come out, I will put some calabrese in. The far end of the garden, you can't see from here, but where the spuds come out, the new potatoes, in will go some, probably the cavolo nero. As and when beans come out, more will go in. So yes, they're all on standby. The ones that are in the cold frame are still under the shade netting, which seems to be keeping them really happy. Look at the squash, aren't they gorgeous, getting away now? Oh, so many flowers as well, so many little fruits coming. But I'll save that to show you another day. I think for now, it's time for me to retreat to the shed, get in the shade, hang up all my onions, and basically say cheerio to you all for now from the new brassica bed. I'm already thinking about winter. Have fun getting your brassicas in, guys. Enjoy the summer while it lasts. Enjoy the rain tonight if it comes. Oh, please let it come. And I'll see you all again really soon, I hope. Take care.